Hey there, welcome back to Very Good Yoga with Billy. My name is Billy, and today's class is going to be all about the hips. We're going to do a lot of outer hip opening, we're going to do a lot of inner hip opening, and a few curveballs along the way. So for today's class, you're going to need 2 blocks, and then let's get started. Let's actually come into a tabletop facing the front of the space. And then once you get into your tabletop, really press your palms into the floor. It's almost like you're pressing the floor away. And then can you do that same sensation with the feet and the tops of the shins? So you get a really strong foundation in this tabletop. Use your pelvis on your next inhale. Drop the belly, lift the heart, look forward, and come into your cow pose. Keep pressing the hands and the feet down as you exhale. Round your spine, drop your head and tailbone down. And we're going to do that 2 more times. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart, look forward, come into your cow shape. And on an out breath, round the spine, drop the head and tailbone down. 1 more full round, still pressing the hands and the feet down. Inhale, come forward into cow. And on an exhale, round the spine, drop your head and tailbone down. Inhale is cow, look forwards. And then tuck your toes and come into a downward facing dog, please. Lift your hips up and back. And for this first downward facing dog of class, let's do this. Walk your hands back a few inches. So you're coming into essentially like an abbreviated downward facing dog. And what I'm going to have you do is keep your right hand on the floor, but grab the outside of the right calf with the left hand so it turns into a twist with your gaze underneath the right armpit. So the hand is outside of the leg, and if this sounds like a good idea, could you pull on the leg to turn the left rib cage more underneath the right armpit? And if you would like a little bit more, could you bring your hand all the way to towards your heel? And if you can't, don't worry about it. Just keep your hand on your calf. And then come back through center. We're still in that short down dog. Second side. Right hand finds the outside of the left calf. And you're twisting, you're turning underneath your left armpit. Maybe you find that gentle pull of the right hand to turn the right rib cage towards the left side of your space. And if you did this before, if you want a little bit more, walk your hand down to your heel as it's available to you. You could even grab the ankle or, I don't know, any part of the outside of the foot works. Take 2 more breaths. It doesn't really matter, but I want you to push yourself, but within reason, right? Like challenge yourself when you need to. Go further when you need to. And then come back into that short dog. And walk your hands to a forward fold at the very back of the mat. Keep a really bouncy bend in your knees. As you press your feet down, slowly roll up to stand for 5, 4, 3, for 2, all the way up on 1. My cat is sitting right next to the camera right now, so if it's shaking, that's why. I'm going to move her, but step up to a Tadasana at the top of the mat. So I'm just going to step off for a second. Come over here, Binks. I didn't even see her come up. Okay. So once you've made your way to a Tadasana at the top of the mat, on your next inhale, please reach the arms up. Lean forward a lot as you exhale, forward fold. Oh, she's coming back. Step your feet out wide, turn your heels in, turn your toes out, and come into a Malasana at the very top of the mat. So if you have really tight hips, you could sit on a block. I'm just gonna let her stay there for now. I think she's okay. Apologies in advance if she messes up the phone. If you're having a hard time keeping your heels down, bring your feet out wider so you can keep the heels on the floor. And for some of you guys, you actually might be off the yoga mat a little bit, and that's fine. 1 more inhale, lengthen. Forward fold is the out breath, but keep your feet exactly as they are. Just straighten out your legs. Inhale, flat back from this wide stance. And then step your right foot back so you're coming into a lizard runner's lunge. Both hands are inside of the front left foot. And if you're having a hard time keeping your hands on the floor, put blocks underneath your hands. We're going to do this 3 times. On your next inhale, dip your hips, lift your chest, look forwards. Press the left foot down to straighten out the front left leg. So you're in this wide and long variation of pyramid pose. Twice more. On your next inhale, dip the hips, lift the chest, look forwards. Press the left foot down to straighten out the front left leg and back your hips up. Last round. Inhale, dip your hips, lift your chest. Press the left foot down to straighten out the front left leg and hold the pose. Wrap the outer left hip back, the outer right hip forward in an effort to keep your hips squared with the front of your room. Press the left big toe down into the mat, and on your next inhale, find a flat back. Exhale, fold. Lizard runner's lunge. On an inhale, re-bend into the front knee. To downward facing dog. Step your left foot next to your right foot. Inhale, look forward, shift forward into plank pose. And on an out breath, lower all the way to the floor. Untuck your toes, come up onto tented fingertips, and walk your hands a little left and right off the mat so your hands are on the floor. Inhale, find a back bend, however high or low as you would like. And on an out breath, lower the belly, bend the chest. Do it again. Inhale, grows your back bend. Exhale, lower, hands are by your shoulders. Tuck your toes, and on your next inhale, move through tabletop. And on your out breath, send the hips up high so you're in your downward facing dog. Bring your feet a little closer together, and please lift the left leg up into a 3-legged dog. Flex through the left foot, turn out your toes on an inhale, bend the knee to open up your hip. So your right heel might not touch the floor, but melt your right heel down as if it could. And as your right heel melts towards the mat, reach your tailbone towards your inner left knee, and then lift the inner left knee up a little bit higher. Take an inhale, exhale, twist, left knee, right elbow. 3-legged dog is a full breath in. Exhale, knee in between the elbows this time. Step your left foot forwards and lower the back right knee down. Low lunge. Inhale, reaches the arms up high. So just like we did in tabletop at the very beginning of class, the right toes are pointed back and you're pressing into the top of the shin. So you still have that really strong base in this shape. What if I asked you to pull the left heel back towards the right knee so it's almost like you're going to scrunch the yoga mat underneath you? Inhale, reach the arms up high. To a forward fold is the out breath. Step your back foot up to meet your front foot. Inhale, flat back. Press your feet into the ground. Forward fold is your exhale. Inhale, come up to stand, reach the arms up high, or Vinyasa. See the palms touch and come into a Tadasana with your palms facing in. Inhale, reach the arms up. Be dramatic as you lean forward, getting the belly away from your thighs to come into your forward fold. Step your feet out wide, turn your heels in, turn your toes out, and come into a Malasana at the top of the mat. I don't know about you guys, but when I come into a Malasana, I kind of have to fidget a little bit to get into a really good position. But eventually settle and really hold the pose. Press the palms together. Press the elbows into the inner thighs and keep going up with the chest. One more breath. To a forward fold is the exhale. Keep your feet the same. Your feet are out wide. Keep the feet wide as you inhale to a flat back. And then step only your left foot back this time. So you're in a lizard runner's lunge with both hands inside of the right leg. If you had blocks on the first side, you might want them again here on the second. Inhale, dip your hips, lift your chest, and look forwards. Press the right foot down to straighten out the front right leg and back up your hips. Twice more like that. Inhale, lizard runner's lunge, dip the hips, lift the chest. And as you exhale, press the right foot down to straighten out the leg. Last one, you know what to do. Take a full inhale. Exhale, straighten, fold, and hold here. So the right hip is wrapping back, the left hip is wrapping forwards. And the reason that cue is so often used with a lot of these lunge shapes is because the leg that's in front of you has a tendency to take the hips with you. So in this scenario, the right thigh goes back and the left hip is rolling forwards. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Lizard runner's lunge, rebend to the front knee. To downward facing dog. Step your right foot next to your left foot. Inhale, look forward, shift forward into your plank pose, and this time slowly lower for 5, 4, 3, for 2, all the way down on 1. Untuck your toes, come up onto tented fingertips, and walk your hands a little left and right off the mat onto the floor. With your Spider-Man hands, inhale, find a back bend, however high or low as you'd like. And on your exhale, lower the chest back to the floor. Inhale, come up into your back bend. Exhale, lower. This time your hands are by your shoulders. Tuck your toes and press up into plank pose. Downward facing dog. Send the hips up and back. This time it's the right leg that lifts, three-legged dog. Flex the foot, turn up the toes, bend the knee, open up your hip. Remember to think about what you're doing on the floor with the left foot. Melt your left heel down. Lift the tailbone off the back towards the right knee. And on your next inhale, lift the right leg up a little bit more. Exhale, twist, right knee, left elbow. Your gaze is forward. Three-legged dog, inhale. Knee in between the elbows. Step your right foot forward to your right thumb and lower the back left knee down. Low lunge, inhale, reaches the arms up. So your feet are pressing down, your hips are going down and forwards. And then as you lift off of the lower back, like your palms and your arms stay in low lunge, but could you do the work of downward facing dog to get the ribs off of your back? One more breath. Forward fold is the exhale. Step your back foot up to meet your front foot. Inhale, flat back. Exhale is fold. Inhale, come up to stand, reach the arms up. See your palms touch, and this time let's fold right back down into your forward fold. Step your feet out wide, turn your heels in, your toes out, and come back into your Malasana Yogi squat at the top of your space. Now, some of you folks might stay here. Some of you folks might even modify with a block underneath your bum. But if you want a little bit more, keep the right arm inside of the right leg and put the right hand out onto the floor. Setting up for a twist, reach the left arm up. And if it doesn't bother the neck, the right eyeball goes up to the left thumb. So yeah, this is a twist. You're turning your chest towards the left side of the room. And I want you to imagine that there's a straight line between your two wrists and that you're trying to get your wrists as far away from one another as possible. 5, 4, 3, 2, wide forward fold on 1. Again, your feet stay in Malasana. The only difference is that you straighten out your legs and fold. Keep your feet the same as you inhale, flat back. Exhale, step only the right foot back so you're in that lizard runner's lunge shape with both hands inside the left foot. Inhale, dip your hips, lift your chest and look forwards. To downward facing dog, step your left foot next to your right foot. On your next inhale, look forward, shift forward into a plank pose. And on your out breath, Chaturanga to lower halfway. Inhale, find your back bend. Toenails press down, legs are lifted well. And then use your belly to send the hips up high into your downward facing dog. Lift the left leg high, come into a 3-legged dog and take a full breath in. Exhale, twist, left knee, right elbow. Twice more like that, 3-legged dog. Inhale the left leg high. And on your exhale, left knee, right elbow. Last one, inhale to 3. Exhale, left knee, right elbow. Pause, hold. Look forward with your eyes. Press down into your palms. Step your left foot forward and lower the back right knee down. Low lunge, 1 breath. Inhale the arms up. And as you exhale, forward fold, step your back foot up to meet your front foot. Inhale, flat back. Exhale's your fold. 1, inhale, come up to stand, reach the arms up high. And then 1 exhale takes you right back down into your fold. Step your feet out wide, turn your heels in, your toes out, Malasana Yogi squat. Lots of options here, guys. We've been here before. But if you want to add on, keep the left arm inside of the left leg as you put the left hand out onto the floor. Open up the arms. Reach the right arm up into the ceiling, and if it doesn't bother the neck, the left eyeball might find the right thumb. Remember, where the gaze goes, the body goes as well. So if you look up, you're going to get more out of your twist. Get the wrists away from one another for 5, 4, 3, for 2, wide forward fold on 1. Again, like your feet stay exactly the same. You're just straightening out your legs. Inhale, flat back. Keep your hands on the ground. Exhale, step only your left foot back to come into your lizard runner's lunge. Inhale, dip your hips, lift your chest. To downward facing dog, right foot's next to the left. Inhale, look forward, shift forward into your plank pose, and continue to press your hands down as you bend into the elbows for your Chaturanga. Inhale to back bend, toenails press down, gazes forwards. And then use your belly to come up into your downward facing dog. Second side, lift the right leg up into a 3-legged dog and take a full breath in. Exhale, twist right knee to the left elbow. 3-legged dog, inhale the right leg high. And on your exhale, twist. Last one, inhale to 3. Exhale, twist, right knee, left elbow. Hold here and look forward with your eyes. Press your palms down and step your right foot forward to your right thumb for a quick low lunge. Left knee is down. Inhale the arms up into a forward fold. Step your back foot up to meet your front foot. Inhale, flat back. Exhale is fold. Inhale, chair pose. Bend into the knees. Lift the heart and the chest up high. Look forwards. Bring your hands to prayer at the heart and twist to the left. So the right elbow connects outside of the left thigh. Press your feet evenly into the floor when you bend into your knees. And some of you might stay here, but if you want a little bit more, you put the right hand on the floor, maybe a block if the ground is too far away. And lift the left arm up. So it's kind of that like that twist we did when we were in our squats, but I think it's a little bit more apparent on this one. Inhale, chair pose. Forward fold is the exhale. Inhale, flat back. And on an out breath, step only your right foot back. Keep your hands on the floor and ground the back heel down like you would do in a warrior one. So setting up for this warrior one like fairly methodically, put your hands at 10 and 2 out in front of you. Ground the back right heel down and bend the front left knee more. Look forward with your eyes. And on your next inhale, let's come up to stand warrior one. And we'll take a few breaths here. Remember the things we did in low lunge not too long ago. Bend into the front knee. Send your hips down, but find some down dog in your ribs and your arms as you lift off of your back. One more breath. Exhale, plank to Chaturanga, lower halfway. Inhale finds your back bend, upward facing dog. And on your exhale, downward facing down dog. Please just step the right foot forward and come into a warrior one, please. Inhale, stand. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale's your back bend, upward facing dog. And as you exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts, three-legged dog, quick inhale. Exhale, twist, left knee, right elbow, but hold the pose. Look forwards with your eyes. Press your palms down really well. And what I want you to feel is as you bring your left knee to your right elbow, notice if that took the hips with you, and turn your right hip bone down to the floor. 5, 4, 3, 2. Step your left foot forward and come up into a forward fold at the very top of the space. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Bend into the knees, heart and chest lift. Look forwards. Bring your hands to prayer at the heart and twist to the right. So it's the left elbow that connects outside of the right thigh. And regardless of where you're about to go, we can all press the feet into the floor as we bend into the knees. And then, if you want to open up the arms, left hand finds something on the floor and the right arm lifts up. Maybe your gaze goes slightly skyward. And in order to get the right arm higher, press the left hand down to do it. Inhale, chair pose. Forward fold is your exhale. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step only your left foot back. Ground the back left heel down and begin to set up for warrior one, but keep your hands on the floor for now. In fact, keep your hands out at 10 and 2 in front of the front foot. The right knee bends, but the right hip hugs in towards center. On your next inhale, come up into warrior one and take 3 to 5 breaths. So I know a lot of the action is happening in the front right leg, but put equal weight distribution between both your 2 feet on the floor. Inhale, arms up. And on your exhale, plank to Chaturanga, lower halfway. Inhale, find your back bend, upward facing. And on an exhale, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts, 3-legged dog. Inhale. Exhale, twist, right knee, left elbow, hold the pose. Look forwards with your eyes. So we do that so we're long through the neck. Bring the right knee to the left elbow, but keep turning your left hip bone down to the floor. You get more of a crunch that way. For 5, 4, 3, for 2, step your right foot forwards. And let's come up into a forward fold at the very top of the mat. Bring your feet 2 fist width distance apart. Take your 2 peace fingers and toe lock your big toes for yoga toe lock. And before we do anything else, bring the thumbs right in front of the big toe and press down into the yoga mat. Keep doing that as you inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold, then into your elbow. Reach the crown of the head to the floor and your gaze somewhere at the back of your room. Breathing for 3, for 2. Unlock your big toes on 1. Inhale, flat back. Padahastasana. Slide your hands underneath your feet. So on the one hand, you're trying to get your middle finger to touch the front edge of your back heel. But then on the other hand, you're trying to get your toe tips up into the wrist creases. And this is optional. You might stay still. You might sway like front and back in your feet. I always think that feels really good to massage out the wrists. You might disagree, so that's why it's optional. For 3, for 2. Take the hands out from underneath the feet on 1. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plank to Chaturanga, Vinyasa. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. And we'll breathe here. So you're spreading through all 10 of your fingers. Again, like your heels might not touch down, but you lengthen them down almost as if they could. Bring your feet a little closer together and lift the left leg up into a 3-legged dog. Flex with the foot, turn out the toes on your next inhale. Bend the knee to open up your hip. Exhale, twist, left knee, right elbow, pause. Shoot the left foot to the right. Roll to the inner edge of the right foot. And let's make our way into a fallen triangle pose with the right arm lifting up into the air. So remember, the leg that's in front of you tends to take the hips with you. So in this scenario, draw the left thigh bone back into the socket so your hips are squared with the side of your space. Inhale the top arm forwards. And on an exhale, right hand down. Left foot steps to your left thumb. Warrior 1, inhale, come up to stand. Exhale, cactus the arms, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and find an interlace at your lower back. On an inhale, reach the knuckles low, but lift the heart and the chest up. Exhale, humble and bow to the inside of the front left leg. Warrior 1, inhale, come up to stand. Open to Warrior 2, but right away straighten out the front left leg. So we're going to make our way into a Trikonasana triangle pose. And what I'll have you do before we go is shorten your stance a little bit so it's 1 leg's distance apart. And then shift your hips back for Trikonasana. Put your hand on your shin, your foot, or go outside of the front left leg. I always need a block just because I have really tight hips and hamstrings. Maybe you need one, maybe you don't. Eventually see if you can get the right arm up. Maybe, if you're enjoying playing with the drishti today, the left eyeball finds the right thumb. Your feet are pressing down, the thigh bones are lifting into the sockets. We'll just take 2 more breaths here. Okay, so I want you to stay in triangle pose. As you come into half moon pose, keep your triangle pose as you come into your half moon pose. So those 2 poses are pretty much the same in alignment. The only obvious real difference is the back leg is lifted. For today's half moon pose, find a point on the floor with your eyes to focus on for just a second. I'm going to ask that you put the left hand directly in front of the left foot today. Normally I offer the hand a little off to the side, but I want you to be on a tightrope with the left hand and the foot. It might and probably will actually make this a little bit more wobbly, but that's the point. That's why I'm having you do this. I always believe if we do the same thing the same way over and over and over again, we get really good at that one thing. So by switching up our positions, playing with variations, this is where we build strength. This is where we get stronger. And for me, that's what keeps yoga interesting. Take an inhale. Reverse warrior two. As soon as the right foot steps back, lift the left arm up and take an inhale. Exhale is plank to Chaturanga, Vinyasa. Go back to downward facing dog. So continuing to keep your gaze in between your feet. The outer arm bones hug in, the palms press into the floor as your hips lift up and back to where the wall meets the ceiling behind you. Bring your feet a little closer together and please lift the right leg up into a three-legged dog. Flex the foot, turn out the toes for just an inhale, bend the knee and open up your hip. Exhale, twist, right knee, left elbow, pause. And shoot the foot to the left onto the floor. Ground down to the inner edge of your left foot and meet me in fallen triangle pose, reaching the left arm up into the ceiling. Right thigh bone pulls backwards into the hips. Inhale, reach the top arm forward. Exhale, left hand down. Step your right foot to your right thumb. Ground the back left heel down. And let's come up into a warrior one. Inhale, rise. Exhale, cactus the arms. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. And find an interlace at the lower back with the opposite thumb on top. So your grip should feel a little bit weird. Inhale, the knuckles low, the heart and the chest lift. And as you exhale, humble your warrior. Warrior one, inhale, come up. Exhale, open warrior two, and right away, straighten out the front right leg, heel toe shorten your stance just a couple times as we come into triangle pose. So your hips are shifting back, and eventually your hand will go down on something. Just a heads up, I'm having like some issues with my right hip today, so this might not be like the best demo of triangle pose. I can't actually see what it looks like. But you can feel it out. I can still press my feet into the floor. I can still bring my eye up to my thumb. And I didn't say anything about this on the last one, but could you reach the bottom right rib cage forward, but get short between your left shoulder and your left hip? 2 more breaths. And remember, we're going to stay in triangle pose as we softly bend the front knee and come up into Artichondrasana, half moon pose. So the right toes are forward. The right hip reaches towards the back left heel. Your left hand is skyward. The crown of the head is forwards. And if you haven't done this already, playing with our balance, bring the right hand directly in front of the right foot. And if the hand directly in front of the foot is not working for you, you could just do thumb in front of the pinky toe, or you just do half moon the way you normally do half moon. Inhale, reverse your warrior two, exhale. As soon as the left foot steps back, reach the right arm up. It's an inhale, exhale, plank to Chaturanga. Vinyasa, meet me back in your downward facing dog into a child's pose. Lower your knees either together or hips width distance apart. Take rest. You know, at the beginning of class when my cat was climbing by the camera, I thought it would be an issue. I think, so my tripod is on top of my computer, and I think she just wants the warmth that is my laptop. It's a cold fall in New England so far, folks. Find your breath and slow down here. So we're taking this moment to try to create, feel, and find for this evenness in the breath. So this is not a stressful breath, but this isn't a passive breath. You know, it's noticeable, it's intentional. It's soft, it's smooth. You visualize the breath traveling up and down your spine as opposed to in and out of the belly. That's 5, 4, 3. For 2, let's make our way back to downward facing dog on 1. Plant your palms, tuck your toes, and lift your hips up high. So with this last piece of flow, we're essentially going to add on and start to really tie things together. Start by lifting the left leg up into a 3-legged dog and take a full breath in. Exhale, twist, left knee, right elbow, pause for a second, look forwards. Shoot the left foot to the right, off the mat onto the floor. Ground the back right heel down and come up into your fallen triangle pose with the right arm high. Stay in fallen triangle pose, but reach the right arm forward. So now there's more of a side body bend happening on your right waist. If you want a little bit more, hover the left foot off the floor. So the only parts of your body on the mat is your left palm and the inner right arch. For 5, 4, 3. For 2, put your right hand down, step your left foot forwards. Warrior 1, inhale, come up to stand. Exhale, cactus your arms, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and find that interlace at your lower back. A little bit different this time. Inhale, the knuckles low, the heart and the chest up. Keep your interlace as you come up into a figure 4 chair. Keep your interlace and come into figure 4 chair. Flex through the right foot as much as the right foot will flex to protect the right knee. Do the work of chair pose in the left leg as you sink your hips down and back. And then reach and feed your heart and chest forward so there's a little bit of back bend happening in the torso. Without slingshotting your arms, with control, bring your hands to a prayer position at your heart and twist to the left. Right elbow connects with the inner arch of the right foot. So your palms are pressing together and your forearms are essentially vertical with the floor. And I know for some people this is actually a pretty deep twist. So if you need a modification, just stay in that figure 4 shape in center. 2 more breaths. Keep your figure 4, but come back through center. Grab on for your right foot, shin or thigh, and let's come up into an Utthita A. Reach the left arm up into the ceiling and hold here for a second. So I'm modifying this one myself. Uh-oh, cat's in the way. You might not be able to see what I'm doing. All right, so the left foot is on the floor and the right leg is in your right hand in some capacity. Stand up straight and then reach the right arm up into the ceiling. And then can you hold the pose and straighten out the right leg in front of you if you haven't done this already. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Urdhva Hastasana into a forward fold. Bring your hands down to the ground. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step the right foot back. Ground the back right heel down and come up into warrior two, where you will right away straighten out the front left leg. Shorten your stance and find a half bind. So the right hand grabs the inner left hip over the lower back. Your left palm will turn up into the ceiling like you're about to serve someone a plate of food. And let's bring the gaze to the back of the room today. As you shift your hips back, maybe you could actually use your right hand to pull the left hip towards the back right heel. And feed the bottom left rib cage forward as you get short between the right hip and the right shoulder. Press your feet down for 5, 4, 3, for 2, softly bend the front knee on 1 and come into a half bound, half moon pose. Float the right leg off the floor. And then for this half moon, Yogi's choice where the left hand goes. You could bring it back in front of the foot if that was interesting before. But I'm going to offer you a Chopasana here. If you want the quad stretch, reach the right arm back. See if you can grab the outside of the right foot, right shin. So you're trying to create this back bend on your right side. Kick your right foot into your right hand a lot. So you're creating some space between your butt and your heel. And of course, we're breathing, you guys. Without slingshotting the foot, we'll all meet in half moon. Reverse warrior two. As soon as the right foot steps back, lift the left arm up. Inhale. Exhale, plank to Chaturanga. Pick your favorite way to go back to downward facing dog. Keep in mind, we've done a lot of Chaturangas and Vinyasas today, so if you want to do less, I don't blame you. I know I want to do less. All right. Last side. Please lift your right leg up into a three-legged dog and take a full breath in. Exhale, twist, right knee, left elbow. Shoot the foot through. Ground the back left heel down. Fall in triangle pose, lift the left arm up. Reach the left arm forward so the bicep is by your ear. Draw the right thigh back into its socket, and if you did this before, hover the right foot up and off the floor. 5, 4, 3, for 2, put your left hand down. Step your right foot forward to your right thumb. Virabhadrasana A. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, cactus the arms. Squeeze the shoulder blades together and find an interlace at the lower back with the opposite thumb on top. Inhale, reach the knuckles low, lift the heart and the chest up high. Keep your interlace as you come up into your figure four chair. Keep your interlace and come up into your figure four chair. So your butt, your tailbone, your knuckles go down and back. Your ribs, your chest, your chin and your ears go up and forwards. Without slingshotting the hands, with control, bring your hands to a prayer position at your heart and find a twist to the right. You might need to manually get yourself into this by actually using the right hand to snuggle the elbow inside the arch of the left foot. And if it's appropriate, bring your palms together. Oh, I'm going to shake and wobble a little extra on this one, folks. This is the bad side for me. And if this is your bad side too, maybe you notice how much more focus and concentration is required to stay in this shape. No judgment, just do your best. Embrace the challenge, embrace the struggle. Eventually come back through center. Right foot stays down, left leg finds the left hand, Utthita A, come up to stand. So the right arm is reaching up. The right foot is pressing down. And you're trying to stand up straight, not back. And with that in mind, reach the left arm up into the ceiling. And without changing anything else about the pose, straighten out the left leg forward so there's an L shape in your legs. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Urdhva Hastasana, step both feet down and then hinge at your hips to bow forwards. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step the left foot back. Ground the back left heel down. Warrior 2, come up to stand. And right away, straighten out the front leg. Almost forgot what we were doing for a second. So the right foot is in front of you. If you haven't already, shorten your stance and eventually go for the half bind with the left hand at the inner right hip. Turn your right palm up and bring your gaze towards the back of your room. Could you actually use your left hand to pull your right hip towards your back left heel as you hinge at your hips, coming into this slightly more demanding variation of Trikonasana. Feed the right rib cage forward. Breathing for 5, 4, 3, for 2. Softly bend the front knee on 1 for your half bound, half moon pose. Float the left leg up. Keep the right toes forward. Maybe this is where you stay, but if you want that Chopasana expression, if you want the quad stretch, reach your left arm back. Bend into the left leg and see if you can grab the foot with the hand. If you have the foot, kick into your hand. Get the heel away from the bum. Without slingshotting it, let it go. And make your way back into a reverse warrior 2. Reach the right arm up, 1 more. Inhale. Exhale is plank to Chaturanga. Vinyasa. Meet me back in your downward facing dog. Woo. All right. Let's make our way onto our backs, folks. You could shoot through. You could drop the knees and roll over, but make your way all the way onto the floor. So we'll just do 2 back bends today. And what I'll have you do is walk your feet in towards the body. So the knees are right over the shins. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the heart and the chest up. And as you exhale, press your feet into the floor to get your hips off the ground. So the shoulder blades are underneath you. And if you'd like a little bit more, interlace your hands at the lower back. So essentially, your upper body is doing that work that we do when we humble our warrior, or really anytime we interlace at the back, even in that figure 4 chair we did not too long ago. Feet pressed down and forwards, like you're going to slide the yoga mat out from underneath you, and the upper back is pressing towards your face. Last breath. And on your exhale, lower the upper back, the middle back, the lower back, the hips, and eventually your tail. We'll do one more. Inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Lift the heart and the chest up high. Exhale, bridge pose. Press your feet down and forward to lift your hips off the ground. And maybe this is where you stay. But if you want to take a wheel pose, reach the arms up and overhead. Get that length, getting the ribs away from your lower back. And then bring your hands wide to frame your face. Come up under the crown of your head first, and eventually straighten out both your arms. And even if you're in wheel, even if you're in bridge, press the feet down and forward to get your heart towards the back of your space. Roll the inner thighs towards one another and try to take about 5 to 8 more rounds of breath wherever you went. On your exhale, make your way to the floor. Your feet step out wide, your knees knock in, and do whatever feels right with the hands. Maybe the arms are overhead in some kind of Y shape or W shape. Maybe your hands rest on the body, on the ribs, on the heart, or even the belly. Just take a moment and notice the effects of our back bending practice today. And notice the buzzing that happens in the body when we do yoga. And notice the quality of the inhale and the exhale. Keep your feet out wide, but drop your knees over to the right. Maybe the gaze goes over the left hand, and if you want more of a hip opening while we're here, put the right foot on top of the left thigh. I think an internal hip opening would probably feel pretty good right about now. We did a lot of external rotation, the outer hips. We did all that lizard and malasana stuff with the inner hips. But I always think and believe that the outer hips are probably the most neglected part of the entire hip region. And then begin to make your way back through center. Second side, drop your knees over to the left. Maybe the gaze goes over the right hand. Maybe the left foot finds the right thigh. Maybe you start to incorporate this as a part of your shavasana. When you think about the way like a yoga class is put together, we have the warm-up, we have like the meats and the potatoes, the flow. But then we have the cool down, which kind of brings us into this equilibrium. If we didn't have the cool down, we just walked out of here after doing like all the flow, I wouldn't say we'd be very balanced. I know this is where a lot of people tend to check out, but I'm going to ask that you try to stay with it. Unwind your legs, come back through center. And let's actually finish with one more happy baby. Grab on for the shins. And if you can keep your tailbone down, grab on for your feet. But if you just grabbed on for your feet and the lower back rounded off the floor, do a little bit less. And make this happy baby playful. Make this happy baby dynamic. Make it yours. I love alignment. I think it's such a great and important part of yoga and the way that I teach yoga, but I think it's important to find some freedom in your movement outside of what you're taught. Something a little bit more genuine and intuitive. Eventually make your way into Shavasana. If you have blocks or bolster, I'd recommend that you put them right underneath your knees to help support your lower back. Eventually, as you settle down into your final resting pose, into your stillness, take one more full breath in. Open up the mouth, and on your exhale, let it go. No more work. No more effort. Shavasana. Start to deepen your breath. Start to invite some smaller movements back into your body. Wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, roll the neck side to side. Slowly begin to bend to your knees, step your feet onto the floor. Reach the right arm overhead so the bicep is alongside the ear. And use your arm as a pillow as you roll off to the right, coming into a brief fetal position. Take a moment to appreciate the support of the floor underneath you. And then keeping your eyes closed. And using as little effort as possible, press your left hand down to come up into a comfortable seat facing your monitor. And just as you find your seat, sit up a little bit taller. Bring your hands to a prayer position at your heart to seal in your practice. Guiding the thumb knuckles up into your sternum. Take a full breath in. Open up the mouth. Exhale, clear it away. Thumb knuckles to your forehead, your third eye center. Thank you for sharing your practices with me today. Go in peace. Namaste. Thank you, yogis. That is it for me for today. But if you folks have any questions, if you have comments, if you have concerns, requests, let me know. If you had a good time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, I think is what people on YouTube say. And that's it. Thanks for coming to Very Good Yoga with Billy. New videos every Thursday. Sorry about that, guy. And that's it for me. Thanks, guys.